Hi, today from Black Forest. Behind me you can see the mountains on the horizon. This is the Schwarzwald Hochstraße, the Black Forest High Street. This is the highest mountains formation in the north part of the Black Forest in Germany. Today we will talk about capitalism, about the capital and the capital accumulation. See you in the next part. Capital accumulation and capitalism. What it is all about. Let's start with the basic notion of the capital. Most people think capital is money or money is capital. That's all what's capital about. But in reality, capital is not money. Money is just one of the forms of capital. Money is, so to say, frozen capital, or the frozen energy that you can use to produce capital. Capital is actually all that enables you to manufacture consumption goods in a faster, in a better way. This is capital. And the capital goods are, so to say, the means of production. They are the consumption goods and the capital goods. Consumption goods are all the goods that you consume, that you need to live: food, shelter, clothing. And capital goods, or the means of production, are actually all the goods that you don't need immediately, or you don't necessarily need to live. But you need them in order to produce, to manufacture the consumption goods in a faster, in a better way, in a more efficient way. And this is what capitalism is all about. Capitalism is about producing, manufacturing capital goods, the means of production, in order to be able to manufacture the consumption good in a better way. This is capitalism. Capital doesn't have to be in a physical form. Capital is, for example, also your knowledge, because your knowledge enables you to do certain things in a faster, in a better way. If you have a knowledge of agriculture, you can produce more agricultural goods because of your knowledge. Your skills are your capital as well, because the skills you have enable you to do things faster, to do things in a better, more productive, more skillful, and of course more efficient way. So this all generally is know-how. This is capital. Capital can be also your brand. This is also a non-physical form of capital, because your brand enables you to sell your products more effectively. It gives you leverage in your distribution, in your marketing. So these goods are non-material capital goods. Of course, they are, the traditional notion of capital are the physical goods, the physical means of production, like machines, like cars, like trains, right? Like the buildings, like the infrastructure. These are the physical capital goods. And now I will explain to you in really simple story how capitalism actually works and what capitalism really is. Let's say we have Alice and Bob, and both of them, they live on lonely islands. They are alone on the islands, each of them on their own island, and the only food available on these islands is the fish. And they don't have anything, they have just bare hands. Of course, there are some trees on the island and so on, but there is nothing eatable except for the fish on the island. So they use their bare hands to catch the fish. And each of them, they need 8 hours of hard work to catch enough fish they need to eat each and every day. And now Alice just accepts this fact and each and every day invests 8 hours of her time into catching fish with her bare hands, and of course the rest of the day to eating that fish or to sleeping and preparing food from that fish or whatever. But what does Bob do? Bob decides to save up and to invest 6 hours a day into catching the fish, and he is starving for some days, for a week, maybe 2, because the fish he catches in 6 hours, it's not enough to satisfy his consumption needs. He would need 8 hours of his work to catch this fish with his bare hands. But what he does is he catches the fish for 6 hours, and the other 2 hours he invests into constructing a fishing rod. He invests, let's say, 2 weeks of his life, every day 2 hours, to get a branch from the tree, to cut the branch, to get some rope, or in order to be able to use that branch as a fishing rod to catch fish, and of course a hook. And he also experiments with the right bait for the fish. At the end, after 2 weeks, he owns a fishing rod that is able to catch the fish twice as efficiently as he would do with his bare hands. So in this setting, the fishing rod is the capital. He has manufactured a capital good that allows him to fish more efficiently. And now he could spend only 4 hours every day fishing, and he would catch as much fish as Alice does in 8 hours, and the rest of the time he would be able to just rest and not do anything. So he doubled his efficiency with this capital good. He raised his comfort, his life comfort, but it's not all. Now he is able to use the other 4 hours without starving. Now he is able to use the other 4 hours to produce another capital good. Let's say a boat. Right? For the boat, he needs to cut some trees, maybe manufacture some other tools in order to put the wood together, in order, to have some kind of a boat that he can use then to go into the sea, into the ocean, and catch more fish because it's farther from the shore. He can catch more fish. He can catch much better, much bigger fish. So it's not only that he raises his production capacity, his efficiency, but he is also able to produce consumption goods of higher quality. He can catch fish that Alice would never see in her life because she is able only to catch fish on the shore, when she can stand and catch fish with her bare hands. So now he has a fishing rod and a boat. And this is what we call capital accumulation, because one capital good allows him to save time in order to manufacture another capital good. Or also you can use capital goods of higher orders to manufacture capital goods of lower orders. Let's say he would produce a hammer that he can use to put together the boat, right? So the hammer, it's not a consumption good. He doesn't need a hammer to eat. He doesn't eat hammers, right? He can't also catch a fish with a hammer. But what he can do is to use hammer in order to produce a capital good that allows to catch more and better fish. So now with the boat and with the fishing rod, he is able to catch the same amount of fish as Alice in only 2 hours. The same amount of fish that Alice catches in 8 hours, he is able to catch in 2 hours with his boat and his fishing rod. And now he can, of course, accumulate that capital more and more, because now he has 6 spare hours a day. So he can, let's say, manufacture, he can make some nets, fishing net, and of course with a net he can catch more fish than with fishing rod, and so on and so on. And this is called capital accumulation. So it's not about getting more and more money. No, it's about raising your production capacity by using one capital good to manufacture, to make another capital good, or to put yourself in a situation to make yourself able of manufacturing, or to enabling yourself to manufacture another capital good that will increase your production capacity, that will increase your efficiency in producing consumption goods. And now we can ask ourselves a question: who is a better capitalist, Alice or Bob? And for everybody it's apparent Bob is a better capitalist. Why? Because he was able to starve in order to produce his capital, and then he was using his capital in order to manufacture more and to produce another capital goods. At the end, with the net and with the boat, he may be able maybe to spend 1 hour a day on sustaining his life with catching fish, and the rest he can use for whatever he wants, for let's say maybe reading, maybe creating something, maybe just resting. So he has more safety in his life, more stability. He doesn't have to worry about his existence because of building these capital goods. So he is a better capitalist. Evidently he built some capital, while Alice at the same time, she didn't build any capital, and she still has to work every day for 8 hours in order to catch the fish. She is not able to save up any fish. Of course, Bob can go for a day fishing and save up for 8 days, right? Because he catches in 1 hour as much as Alice in 8 hours. So he can go fishing once every 8 days and then take a 7-day vacation, so to say, right? So Alice still needs to work 8 hours every day, and if she is sick, she has a problem because maybe she can't fish and then she starves, and so on and so on. What is it that decides about who is a better capitalist and who isn't? I made a video about that, saying what we learn for business from Star Wars. I will attach it here, and also you will find the link in the comment below. I was talking there about the marshmallow test, about the delayed gratification, but in economy we talk about time preference. What does it mean, time preference? High time preference is if you have the need to consume everything you get immediately, right? You prefer to have something now instead of saving up for having more in the future. When you prefer yourself in now instead of preferring your future self. And low time preference is the opposite. So you prefer your future self, you invest in the future self instead of having the gratification now, right? So the better capitalists, as you saw in the example I gave you in this video, are people with low time preference. Actually, the low time preference is one of the descriptions of capitalism, of building of the capital accumulation. People with low time preference invest in the future. They save up things in order to build better capabilities, better abilities for themselves in the future. So better capitalists are people with low time preference. And this is just from the explanation before that. You will understand why in marshmallow tests, kids who were able to delay the gratification, they were then later much more successful in their lives from the kids who weren't able to delay the gratification. This is exactly because in our capitalistic society, people who have the low time preference, meaning those who can delay gratification, they think in these capital accumulation terms. That's why they are just much more successful in a capitalist society. They build more capital, and that's why they have more success in their lives. That's it for today. I hope you like this video. If yes, give me a thumb up. If not, of course, thumb down. Subscribe if you haven't. I invite you to comment. What is your perspective? What is your experience? What are your thoughts about this topic? What do you think about capitalism, about capital accumulation? Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. One day they will thank you for that. I talk here a lot about economy, about money, about business, about how the best entrepreneurs in our world think and act, how the self-made billionaires think. I talk also about cryptocurrencies, about my investment experience. So, if you like this video, you will certainly like my other videos. I invite you to watch them. That's it for today from Black Forest. I wish you a fantastic day. Let's do something extraordinary today.